Does that shot look familiar? How about this one? I think all of us have experienced that difficult lie when we're near the green. One of the things that I want to teach you today is not only how you need to change your swing angle of attack, but perhaps change your golf club decision in trying to get up and down from these pesky situations where we're 15 to 20 feet off the green. We're going to discuss how you need to identify your lie, and then how to make the proper swing change, and also change the club. And hopefully we'll see you get up and down from anywhere around the green. Let's get started. So the first shot I attempted was when the ball was sitting up on the grass. You can definitely see the entire ball is raised up above the grass. The problem with this shot, or what makes this shot most difficult, is that you can see that this club can actually press down quite a bit underneath the ball. So when people end up taking their lob wedge, they end up sliding the club underneath the ball, and the ball just kind of pops up and doesn't go very far. So what we have to do is we have to make one swing change. We have to try to keep the club as shallow to the ground as possible. It's almost like you're trying to pick the ball off of this tee. It's basically teed up. Another thing that you might want to try is don't always use your lob wedge or your sand wedge here, because like we talked about, the loft is so high that the ball can kind of slide over the face. So maybe choose a pitching wedge or even a gap wedge in this situation. In fact, I'm going to go to my gap wedge. Well, first I'll show you what people most normally are doing incorrectly the most is they bring that club up too steep this way, they hit down on it, and the club slides underneath, and it ends up looking like I showed you earlier, which is like this. Right. Ball goes nowhere. In fact, now you got a more difficult shot. Instead, we'll get this ball teed up here. Let's change clubs to a gap wedge, or maybe even a pitching wedge. In fact, I'll try pitching wedge here. And let's try to get a very shallow backswing and a very shallow forward swing, like we're trying to sweep it off the tee. We can do that, open up the face just a little bit. Hopefully it looks like this. And of course, the second lie we're going to talk about is when the ball is sitting down or surrounded by grass on all edges. What most people tend to do on this shot is, yeah, they choose the right club, usually a lob wedge or a sand wedge, but they end up bringing the club in too shallow, and they end up topping the ball most of the time. It's really hard to get out of this lie. It's a very unpredictable lie, but hopefully we can give you some tips today on how to, at least escape this lie and maybe be putting for your up and down. So what we need to do in this shot, a little differently than the last one, is we actually need to hinge our wrist early in the swing so we can hit down steep behind the ball. Now, because there's so much grass behind the ball, you're not going to get any spin at all, so expect the ball to roll out. So here's where we need to control the amount of roll that the ball has with the loft of our club. So in this situation, we need the most lofted club in our bag, so I suggest your lob wedge, and I have a 58-degree wedge I'm going to try. And the way I approach this shot when it's completely buried or surrounded by grass is I try to imagine that I'm playing it like a bunker shot. So I put the ball position about the middle of my stance, maybe a little forward, and I try to hinge those wrists a little sooner, and so I can create that steeper angle of attack. I want to be aggressive through this shot. If you try to baby it, and you kind of stab at it, the ball will go shooting across the green, or you might end up missing the ball completely. So what I'd like you to try on this shot is open up the club face a little bit. We don't want that club face to close once we hit the grass behind the ball. So open up the face, put the ball a little bit forward of center, and try to imagine that you're going to hit about an inch or half an inch behind the ball, but accelerate through. If you do this correctly, the ball will pop straight up in the air, and it'll roll out a little bit, which is what we want in this situation anyway. So expect it to roll out. Okay, so hopefully it looks something like this. Remember, steeper angle of attack. I still finish low down here, but I want to definitely try to keep that face from shutting. Another trick you might want to try to do is weaken the right hand, which means put the right hand more on top of the club. That'll keep the face open a little bit more. Okay, so here we go. Ball pops straight up, rolled out to about 6 feet. I got a chance to save my, my par here. So hopefully these two tips with the ball sitting up and also the ball buried will help you get up and down more often, hopefully lower your scores. Once again, my name is David Nesbitt. I'm the Director of Instruction at Boulder Ridge Golf Club in San Jose, California, and I hope these tips help. Good luck.